Okay, I will start with mantra. Om Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matrirupena Sanstita Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shaktirupena Sanstita Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Shantirupena Sanstita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha Om Namo Namaha Shri Mirambikayai Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Aravindaya Om Namo Namaha Shri Mirambikayai Shri Aravinda Sharanam Mama. All right, we stopped somewhere here. Again, within this scheme from here, I will finish this presentation till the end. So to have a view on the bigger picture of the Vedic paradigm. But do you have some, did you have an opportunity to look in that article I sent you?
Not really, to be honest.
Not really.
Because we've been really so busy. I was traveling back to Oregon. I was
True.
in Paris and then traveling back to Oregon. I mean, I feel a bit guilty, but next time I'll really look into it.
Okay, no problem. I'm saying the same thing. I'm just asking in case there are some questions. You don't have to. It's not an obligation. It's not just sending you this. The same thing we discuss, only with the references to Sri Aurobindo's works and so on. Very similar discussions you can find in Mother brought this occultism and this vision. This comes from the occultistic tradition, yes, of she was educated in, and when she was, well, as I mentioned, in together with Max Theon and his wife, you remember her. Memories which she shared with Satprem in Agenda. There she was mentioning this, that Alma, who was the wife of Max Theon, she could exteriorize 12 times, move from body to body to body to body until supramental body. You remember? 12 exteriorizations up to the supermind. And I never could understand this. How it can be, you can exteriorize only once from the physical body to the vital, and that's already a big deal, you are in the subtle body, you can see yourself, you can see your physical body, you can come back to it. It's already a big shift in consciousness. But how is that that you can exteriorize 12 times? I never could understand until I discovered this in the Veda. So, and this is the, you can see here the Navagva rishis of 9 rays. And here also 9 rays is 9 levels of consciousness. So from the physical, proper physical, to the vital physical, to the mental physical. This mental physical is the mind of the cells, what she was referring to. Yeah? There is something, some structure, some mind within the cells. Then there are levels of the vital, which means there is vital, which is responsible for the connection to the physical. There's vital, proper vital, which is on the level of Manipura. And then there is mental vital, which is more on the level of the what Sri Aurobindo describes as paradise God's paradise of God's paradise. In Savitri, there is a level where the vital is immortal. It is that paradise where we are also kind of trying to get into after our death. So to say, we want to go to the paradise of the vital world where all the enjoyments and beauties are there stored for us. So vital is split in two parts. There is one which is immortal, mental vital, and one physical, which dies out when the physical body dies. Yeah? There is disconnection taking place. So in the occultism, it is considered that physical vital is being, so to say, destroyed when the physical body is dead. So we do not have any more connection to the physical, as it were, but the 5 levels remain within us, yeah, according to the occultism. Vital, vital, mental, vital, physical mind remains, strangely enough. So it doesn't, because it will be that connection of the soul to the physical, the path, as it were. And vital mind is our higher mind in Sri Aurobindo's terminology, and mental mind is our illumined mind, whereas physical mind is our proper mind, reason. So here we have a very interesting occultistic system, and these are 9 levels, 9 levels of consciousness, which if we add 3 levels of Svar, Trirochanas, we will have 12. And these are the 12 levels Alma was traveling through up to the supermind. She could exteriorize from level to level until to the intuitive, and then overmind and supramental overmind, and she was coming to the supermind. These exteriorizations, a very interesting indication by the mother of these levels. And also mother speaks about 12 chakras and not 6 or 7 as it is in the normal yoga. In the normal yoga, it starts with mental physical, which is Muladhara. Muladhara chakra is in at the bottom of our spine, yes, in the sexual center. But mother speaks about 2 more chakras below Muladhara, and this would be vital physical and physical physical. Vital physical on the levels of the knees, and below that, below our feet, there is physical physical, proper physical, which we never can experience because the presence of consciousness is minimal there. It is hardly possible for us to be aware of the physical physical. But on the level of mental physical, we can be aware of the physical. And
you can
say it again?
you dance, you train to put your awareness and consciousness in the feet all the time. So there is, of course, a big work that takes place in the physical.
Yeah, I agree, especially with what you do with dancing, yeah, and being aware in the physical body. Even then, yeah, I'm not sure that we are talking about the same thing. We may want to be aware of that. Of course, that is the problem of all our change, that physical, which resists most. Yeah, it belongs to the universal physical. So there we cannot really change our physical. If we could, we would be immortals already, but we are struggling with that. Yeah. We are talking about awareness, about being conscious of, not even about change yet. So it's quite, of course, mother was aware of these 2 chakras and these levels of consciousness. But yeah, so she spoke about these 2, and then if we go up, we can see that mental physical is Muladhara, whereas physical vital is our Svadhisthana or Dantian center, yeah, which collects all the nadis, all the nerves for 72,000 streams, nadis, coming to the center. It is our senses, sensation within the body, nervous system within the physical. Then we have vital, which is Manipura chakra. It's a navel center. And interestingly, that navel connects us to the womb, to the mother, and then it is being cut when we are born into a new body from the womb. And then we have this navel connecting us to the subtle body. When it is cut, also we are dying, yes? We disconnect from the physical. So there is still navel connects us to the vital, which connects us to the mental, supramental, and our soul. So for our soul to leave, that navel has to be cut again. This is the vital. It's quite interesting to think of. Mother had this experience in Agenda, as maybe you remember, when she found the mantra of life and death. It was left to her from the Vedic rishis, from the rishis of the Vedic times, to Mother Mira. And that's why Max Theon wanted to meet with her. He knew that the Divine Mother is on earth, and this mantra is for her, and he wanted that mantra badly. So he started his cosmic review to attract the mother, and he knew that she will find that cosmic review and will come to him, and this happened. She came to him, she found a cosmic review, and she came to Algiers and met with him, and then they made this she went into this occult place in the subtle body. She had to come out of the physical and got this mantra, but when she got it, she understood that she cannot give it to Max Theon, because she knew who he was, and it would be disastrous for us all. So she refused to give him, and he became furious and cut her navel.
I remember that.
Yes, and she says that this is very different from exteriorization. Then in that time, the earth becomes heaven and heaven becomes earth. There is a reversal. Womb, it's like changes. The position is changing. Yeah? And she says if it would be not she and not Max Theon, on the other hand, they would never be able to tie it up back. So she was dead, and she connected navel again. She came back into her physical body. You can see what navel does. So to say, it's really that central position for us to be embodied. It's a crack, antariksha, in the vital world, and we will speak about it more at the end of this presentation, because this crack is essential for us to go to the beyond, to the supramental and to the transcendental worlds and to the inconscient also. This is the path to the beyond. Also, when we come over this level to the higher mental vital, it is our emotional center. So we have emotions, feelings and sensations. So mental vital, and physical vital. So vital is quite a range of our life. And then we move towards our Vishuddha center, of the articulation of the mind, our vocal center in the throat, physical mind. Then vital mind is the Ajna chakra, mental mind is Sahasrara chakra. And then beyond, above the Sahasrara, there are three chakras, as Mother says. There are three chakras above Sahasrara. And these are three rojanas of Svar, of the intuitive mind, overmind, and supramental overmind. And this is it. That's our 12 levels of consciousness. Also, interestingly enough, on the level of time, if you take it on the scale of time, you will see that this will be our 12 months. It's the full cycle. And these 12 months, 9 months, we are born. Within 9 months, we are in the womb. And then we are born. Also very interesting. So it's like somebody created the matrix for us on the scale of space and time. And Sri Aurobindo says that these Navagvas could be understood that rishis of 9 months of meditation, and Dashagvas the rishis of 10. Yeah. So, and it is kind of confusing for the mind, which is either or, thinking either or. Yeah? But if you see it in the global perspective, in the perspective of this, holographic view, that time and space are interconnected. Yeah? So the rhythm in time will be repeated of what is available in space, in the self. Then there is no such confusion anymore. Anyhow, it is worth meditating upon the scheme. Yeah, and you can see that supermind, with its unity, one in many and many in one and many, is repeated on all 3 levels. Yeah, you can see that mental mind is more unifying, vital is diversifying, and physical is diverse totally. Yeah? And within these also, there is mental, physical, more unifying, the mind of cells, vital, physical, diversifying, and physical, and totally diverse. Every single bit is unique in this physical creation. It does not repeat other forms. All forms are unique. Same on the mental and vital level. These 3 are repeated. It's like picture within the picture, I want to say, a holographic view. Yeah? So you can see that the physical is important, and it is part of the supramental creation. It didn't come to being just because there was some inconscient. No, it is a part of this diverse element. So it used it and it projected it and made it totally diverse, totally, how to say, unique in terms of manifestation. And you can see the infinity of manifestation through the physical world, that there is nothing which repeats itself. As we already mentioned, there are no fingerprints, similar, same. There are no same pebbles, there are no same leaves. So you will never find same forms in nature. So in that sense, of course, physical is a part of spiritual enterprise. It's not something else. It's the spiritual thing. It's the spirit. And that is what Mother was always wondering, why we are separating the spirit and matter. Who created this idea? And Sri Aurobindo answers to this question. The separation comes in post-Vedic period, when Vedic rishis, as he says, it was due to the failure, it is his words, of the Vedic rishis to transform earthly life. They were trying to transform the physical by the spiritual influence, but it was very difficult because humanity was not ready. So, due to the failure of Vedic rishis to transform earthly life, that the split took place. One part of humanity moved towards manifestation, that is the Western part, Chaldean tradition, yeah? And other part moved towards the spirit, denying the manifestation nature. And it became Advaitic more and more in India. So, but both of them did a sacrifice of some kind, because both had to be there. Yeah? And if you go only for the material, you would lose the spirit. If you go only for spiritual, you will lose the material. Yeah? The natural way of living. And we can see it in India, that India lost this grip over matter, became very tamasic in material manifestation, disorderly in some way, because there is no force to hold the matter. Everything, all the resources of consciousness were given to the spirit. It's a very unique view of Sri Aurobindo. You will not find it anywhere else. By the way, it explains a lot why now the West is drawn to the India and India drawn to the West. It is that missing part, yeah, which has to come back to this Vedic vision, to this complexity. Yeah. Something else I had in mind. Yes, and that's why Mother brought Sri Aurobindo's sign. Sri Aurobindo's sign exactly embodies both traditions, in this Chaldean and Vedic. Chaldean, this six-cornered star, David's star, and in the center there is this avatar, the lotus. This union of two traditions, of spiritual and physical, back to the origin, to the pre-Chaldean, pre-Vedic tradition, which was there before. All this knowledge she took from Max Theon, by the way, and even sign of Sri Aurobindo she took from him and reshaped it for Sri Aurobindo. Max Theon knew about it, about this tradition which was supposed to transform earthly life. Why we are putting so much emphasis on it? Because it is the Vedic tradition, and I want to show you how sacrifice is answering to this quest of transformation, because sacrifice is the transformation of the physical nature. You remember maybe in the Savitri when, yeah?
Because in the colon we have also the descending and the rising triangle, and they call it the sharp cone.
They call it, I have to make it, yeah? No, Mother gave it, yeah.
They call it the sharp cone. The rising and the descending triangle.
Yes.
The star is called the sharp cone. So, and there are so many columns that depict the sharp cone, and from that base structure, there's so many patterns that we do. Endless count, no counting available. So many.
Right.
All the way to the manifestations of creation.
Yes. Yeah, this is deeply in the culture.
Mm. It's from the yantric.
Yantras also in the same way, ascending and descending triangles. Yes.
The way the rising and the descending, the apexes are more conjured so that the squaring takes place in the middle. So
yes.
Both the triangles are closer to one another than so that it's not a hexagonal shape that occurs in the center, but that it becomes a square.
Yeah,
the matter, that's the body of matter, the square.
Right. Yes.
The lotus avatar.
Right. Yeah. Yes, of course. It would be nice if you would have this as I have, a headset, because then I can hear you very clearly. Last time it was so good, I could hear everything. This is a little bit distant and far away. I will make louder, but it's not about louder. It's a bit something else.
Yeah, the microphone doesn't take my voice properly.
Yeah, it cuts it off all the time, like trying to remove the noise. You put the noise reduction onto the microphone. You have to remove the noise reduction. It should not have a gain control, this automatic gain control. So when there is noise, it gives the voice. When there is no, it cuts it off. So it's kind of difficult to hear all the words, what you say. But what I wanted to add to is, I wanted to read from Savitri, but I will not go into it because it takes time. I just mentioned when Savitri and Satyavan met, you remember, and he says to her the same thing, that whenever he concentrated on the spirit, on God, he forgot about nature. Nature disappeared. And when he concentrated on nature, the divine disappeared. So there is a constant separation of spirit and matter within us, incapacity of us to hold both. We are not capable of being spiritual in action and in living in the body. When we are in the body, we are becoming animals. When we are living in the spirit, we become saints, and we refuse everything normal of life. So either or. There cannot be any compromise. And we know it from monks and traditions and religions. They all deny life in Christian tradition, in whatever. Buddhist, you name it. Hinduism, they are all becoming sannyasis. They all become to hell with all this world, as somebody said to me in Mahabalipuram. So the sannyasi, he sits on his this and he speaks to hell with all this world, and has so many listeners and followers and lives like a king, but says still to hell with all this world. So there is some kind of contradiction. And this contradiction is really, for the first time in my mind, was removed by this vision of this triple world, what I'm showing to you. That the physical is a part of the spiritual enterprise. There is no gap. There would be no mind if the physical would not be there. There is no mind. We think that there is mind without the physical. There is no mind without physical. There is physical mind. Mind is only for the sake of physical to be manifested, to manifest the spirit. It's only a transition. It's only a tool for the manifestation of the being. Yeah? So there would be no vital, there would be no physical without any of these components. It's a triple three. They are connected all. It's one bundle. You can't remove one out of it. You cannot remove physical. There will be no physical mind. There will be no mental, this physical vital. This is it. You would not have anything. It will destroy the whole thing. There would be no supermind afterwards, immediately. Because the supermind exists through these three. Supermind tells us that the physical is a part of its enterprise. This is the discovery. And now, theoretically, metaphysically, I have no problem with understanding that the world is one and the physical is a spiritual enterprise. Okay, here we have this Sri Aurobindo's terminology I already mentioned, that three rochanas are supramental overmind, and intuitive mind. In my article, you will find more references and more detailed explanations about these. Tisro Dyavah, the three heavens are the illumined mind, higher mind, and mind, proper mind, reason. And then there are lower realms of mental, vital, and physical vital. We spoke about them, Trini Rajansi, and triple physical, Tisro Bhumich, three earths, mental, physical, vital, physical, and physical. Moreover, although we speak about triple three, so 9 plus 2, 12, plus 3, 12, and in terms of time and space, still, Sri Aurobindo says that the system is much more complex, and this is only a layout or general picture of it. 3 times 3. The system is much more complex. It is 7 times 7, and not 3 times 3. And it builds 49, and this 49 plus oneness gives it 50 on the one side, and on the other 50, and you have 100. This is the number of 100 which was mentioned in the Vedas. So these 49, what are these 49? It's much more complex system. I tried to really look into it, and it is quite difficult. The mind is not capable to distinguish those levels in between. If here we have 3 physical levels, then on this we have to have 7 on each. So to say 7 times 7, we have to have 7 levels, and on each level 7 divisions. So it's much more elaborate and much more precise in this spiritual terms. We are not going in that direction. I'm just telling you that this scheme is just a scheme of shifts of consciousness, of the major shifts. But there are many sub-levels within, which makes it much more complex. Okay. So body is a supramental creation. The triple conception of the creator within his own consciousness creates the supermind. That is in the Veda. The supramental manifestation is there, taking place by the triple conception of the supreme. And that is Satchitananda, which is expressed in terms of triple supermind. Yeah. It's quite interesting because if you look at Satchitananda, it has the same hierarchy. Sat, the being, is one. It is most uniting. Everything which is, everything has a being. It cannot be without being, without existence. It's the most unifying element. Consciousness is diversifying that being. When consciousness views the being in a particular way, it can manifest parts of it as entities, as being itself. So we are all manifestation of that consciousness. So it's diversifying, and Ananda is actually diverse element. It is coming from that perception of consciousness of the being in a particular way. So we have the same triple supermind already taking it from the transcendental and bringing it into manifestation in terms of these triple worlds. So the Vedic physical consciousness is a result of this conception and part of its realization. The physical and mental consciousness are seen in the Veda as two luminous firmaments, Roda, sea, supporting the growing soul of man. We will come to it in a minute. The concept of the sacrifice, heaven and earth, the physical and the mental and physical consciousness are housing souls here as the eternal amshas of the divine to perform the sacrifice. They support and nourish them and protect them from abhava, from chaos of the inconscient, which they have descended to convert and to save. So our souls came down into these shells of heaven and earth, which are protecting us from this inconscient, and inconscient has access to us. We will talk about it in a minute. I will show you the scheme. And but we have to be protected from the chaos, because the chaos or that inconscient can gobble us up. We can disappear in the inconscient. In Savitri, Sri Aurobindo speaks about this, that there are dense levels of darkness at the bottom of the inconscient, where the soul is lost. So it cannot recognize itself, cannot remember itself, loses its consciousness. So it is so dense and infinite darkness there. So this is the hymn of Agastya Rishi, where he invokes, maybe we will read it, and asks all the time that heaven and earth should protect us from the inconscient. And it is quite obvious, because heaven and earth, our mental and physical being, if they are strong and healthy, they will always protect our soul from this bewilderment of the inconscient. When we have nightmares in the vital world, we run either to our physical fortress, we want to wake up, and then everything is fine, we are safe, or we have to have a very strong mind, which will help us out. If the mind is bewildered, then we run to the physical. In the vital world, when we sleep, mind is bewildered, we do not know really. In the physical, mind finds it immediately itself and becomes a firmament which can uphold us, sustain us. So Agni, the divine will, the spiritual father of the evolving souls of man, as it is considered in the Veda, is thus a growing lord in the darkness, taking all of it into himself and changing it into its divine prototype. So he transforms the darkness. This is the transformative power. Now here I wanted to show you some schemes which I made with a pen, with a pencil, but still it's not very beautifully drawn. It could be nicely done, but it's a sketch. Yeah? So here you can see that heaven and earth were one at the beginning. It's that egg, the cosmic egg which was floating on the waters of the inconscient for 1 year, though time was not there, and then it cracked. So once it cracked, the upper part became heaven, the lower part became earth, and between there was this antariksham, the crack. So the essence of heaven is Surya, the essence of earth is Agni, and the essence of Antariksha is Vayu. So these are the three fires, Agni, Vayu, and Surya, which have to be united in the sacrifice. So Agni is to rise to heaven and to unite with Surya. This is the major purpose of the sacrifice, to unite these three, Agni, Vayu, and Surya.
Does Vayu then become the carriage?
Yes, Vayu is the carrier, yes. Vayu carries the sacrifice to heaven. It's actually it is the energy within prana, yeah? The fire within prana world. Agni is the fire within physical, Surya is the fire within mental, and Vayu is the fire within the prana, yes, vital world. And Vayu has a very specific nature I wanted to show here by this picture. So one foot is on earth and it goes up, 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 but doesn't reach to heaven. Other foot is on heaven and goes down, down, but doesn't reach to earth. So it creates this tension, like between the two polarities. And that tension is the place of the sacrifice, as the Veda would say. Vayu Pavamana is yajna, the sacrifice. Here, the all transformation is taking place within this field, within this pranic field. The earth is changing and heaven is changing through this pranic field. Now, if you look at this picture, you can see that heaven and earth and Antariksha have, through Antariksha, you can come to the beyond. You can come to the superconscious or superconscient and inconscious ocean, to both of them. So there is a passage within our crack, within our navel. It seems that navel is not only connection of one body to another, it is also a passage to the beyond. Yeah? That's why most probably it was chosen as the connection between bodies, between lives. What is interesting here in the Veda, that in order to go down or up to the above, you have to go down into the inconscious ocean, you have to rise, and the cave of the inconscient ocean is on the hill. And this was never understood by me until I understood that actually we have to rise in our consciousness to find that entry into the beyond. And that crack is there in the region of the plexus solaris somewhere, which you have to go in, and as Mother says, you go there in and go down, 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 go deep, deep, deep. There is a passage until you come to the fire and you see that you meet your psychic being. So we will have to go through this passage. And this passage is guarded by all kinds of forces. Through this passage, all the inconscient forces and subconscious forces come, and so superconscious, and they all fight here. This is a battlefield. they all enter into our domain of heaven and earth. We are here protected, but the entry is here because the transformation is taking place here. So all this is like in the nutshell. We are sitting as in the shell, and the forces enter, and we have to meet with them and make, as Yajamana, as our soul, have to make a decision with whom we are and what we prefer. So the presence of the soul here, beyond this antariksha, at the background of the psychic being of Yajamana, makes this decision with whom to go, who is conquering our soul, who as costly prize, as Sri Aurobindo says. The battles of demons and gods are fighting for our soul as costly prize. So if we look at this from the Vedic perspective, we will see that Agni is the son of Rudra. Rudra holds on his shoulders the whole manifestation. He is the divine which is upholding everything. He is the Sat, the divine existence inherent or intrinsic to our physical existence. So within the physical or beyond it, there is a divine being. And the Agni is his son, his action, the divine will, which transforms its nature. So Agni is rising to heaven, and Vishnu, on the other hand, is this in the Swar world of the overmind, whose Indra, intuitive mind action, leaping down with his lightning, and Indra and Agni are supposed to meet. Once they meet, the sacrifice is done, because the awareness of the aspiration, so to say, is realized. So the aspiration of Agni is meeting the answer of Indra. The quest and the grace are meeting, as it were. The rising aspiration and the answer from heaven, they have to meet. But for them to meet, there is a problem here in between, because Agni is not conscious in its natural way of rising, or there is an energy in nature which wants improvement, which seeks, which wants to find the divine, but it is not conscious totally or consciously formulated. So for that sake, he says the Brihaspati interference from the heart is needed on the level of the vital. So there will be a reformation of this aspiration in terms of mantra, in terms of conscious seeking of the higher answer from heaven. So once that is done, Agni changes its nature and becomes capable to rise to heaven. So Indra can connect to Agni. Then Indra is leaping down and they become one. Indra and Agni, Vishnu and Rudra and Brihaspati. This is the Vedic vision, which was in Puranas was formulated a bit different. So
is that also why? I mean, I've been always told, do not concentrate on your third eye, concentrate on your heart.
Right.
Go look inward into your heart.
Yes.
Do not look into the third eye region, because it is in the heart that there is the connection. And by drawing the both physical eyes towards the the pineal gland energy eye, which is also now being discovered as a lens, the spiritual eye, by drawing the physical eyes towards the third eye, and then drawing all three the eyes into the heart, we have a better chance at being guided to consciousness.
Right. Yeah, and
you get lost in the mental eye.
Yeah. Sri Aurobindo also changed his, though he was more meditating from above the head, and he didn't recommend to concentrate on the third eye because it's a dynamic center and very difficult to manage it. Yeah, to open the third eye is quite a challenge, but to concentrate over the head, yeah, just in the Sahasrara over the head. That was his method. He was suggesting it to Pavitra, and Pavitra followed his method and so on. But later, with the development of his yoga, and especially with Mother coming, he recommends more and more, and you will find it in the letters, to concentrate on the heart center. And you will notice also that the heart center and the center over the head, they are connected. So the more you are diving into the heart, the more you feel the presence in the heart, the more you feel pressure from above. And vice versa, the more the pressure from above comes, the more the heart center is activated. So these are two beloved ones, as it were, the one psychic being within us, and that the transcendental Godhead, or that unborn self. They are connected. And of course, here we can see how this trinity of Rudra, Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, but it is differently presented in Puranas, more and more different. Yeah? They do not see this transformative action of one divinity with these three representatives of one divine, of Rudra, Brihaspati, and Vishnu. They are understood in this way in the Veda. These are two movements of the...
Does Rudra relate then to Shiva?
Yes, Rudra is Shiva. Yeah. Right. And the most effective, because he changes immediately physical, and the most as Shiva is, yeah, and he disregards all the procedures, he disregards all the common sense, whether it is needed or not. He gives the boons to Rakshasas, to gods, to anybody who wants it, who wants any change. He can change immediately physical nature. He can give boons of immortality, because he is immediately effective on the physical level, through the physical. And that's why he is Nataraja.
How come then in India the Brihaspati aspect has become so far, so distant?
Yeah, it happened in Puranic times. We know, yes, that there are only two temples in India to Brahman. Yeah, and there are only Vishnu and Rudra temples, Shiva temples. But Brihaspati became obsolete nearly, and he became a Ganapati, because he is Ganapati in the Veda. So now he is Ganesha. So he's quite prominent in his new form of Ganesha, as the son of Rudra. But truly speaking, he became a son of Rudra. He was not his son.
He was maybe even more his father.
Yeah, his mother created him, without Shiva. And then he kind of adopted him. He is adopted son. It's in Puranas. Puranas could not totally lie the story, so they made him adopted son. Yeah. So,
and was this to hide or to prevent? It almost sounds like it is done purposefully.
Yeah, maybe purposefully.
The manifestation of consciousness for all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just it's just coming to me then.
Yeah, we do not know, but there are many reasons of ignorance is one. Second, the reason, the change, the shift of paradigms. We are thinking in totally different paradigm, and it's quite difficult for us to understand without Sri Aurobindo. I am not Without Sri Aurobindo, we would not understand this transformative power here. With Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, it becomes quite clear that all these three are actually one divine, but working from different angles, as it were, bringing different aspects of its work, which we call Rudra, Brihaspati, and Vishnu in the Veda. So anyhow, this is an amazing scheme. If you think about it, you will get a lot of insight. There is much more to it than I'm talking in this introduction. But if you think that we can discuss this for as long as the course lasts, or the difference between Rudra and Vishnu, their stories. And in Puranas, Rudra and Vishnu are fighting for thousands of years for domination, and nobody can dominate so nobody can be the only god. So at the end they are exhausted and they stop fighting. But their fight, if you look into Shiva Purana or Vayu Purana, you will find that Rudra or Shiva always meditates on Vishnu. He wants Vishnu. He is aspiring for that connection of the divine within manifestation. We are talking about within manifestation. Without manifestation, they are one divine. There is no problem. But within this, Dhyava Prithivi, within our shell, within this universe, they are to connect. They have to become one from both sides. And here we have also our triple nature. Rudra represents, Agni represents Rudra as the divine willpower, karma yoga of the Gita. Brihaspati represents love in the heart, in the emotional center, bhakti yoga. And Vishnu, through Indra, represents jnana yoga of the mind. So here we have it, mental, physical, and vital, from the divine perspective. So these are the three major components of our being which have to be united. And Sri Aurobindo says in the Life Divine and Synthesis that our problem, the major problem, is that our mind and heart do not go together. Our mind, heart, and will are totally disconnected. We are not one being. So our mind says one thing, our feelings say something else, and our will wants something else. So we are not connected, we are not yuktas, we are not united. We have to be united, and this is the union. This is the sacrifice. That's why these three have to be united, Agni, Vayu, and Surya. Once they are united, we have the union of Vishnu, Rudra, and Brihaspati. And then there is no problem for us. And our mind follows our heart follows our will, everybody follows everybody, and there is no disconnection.
And that becomes an integral.
Yes, we become integral, correct. And here I just specified more with the what are these Vijnana Svar worlds. There are three transcendences. It's a very interesting scheme. So the transcendence is not, we cannot go to the beyond, to Svar world and Vijnana over heaven. Heaven is the ceiling. We cannot go to the inconscient over earth, over physical. Physical is the ceiling, so to say. We have ceiling from both sides. We cannot break it through, as it were. Though sometimes symbols are used that our ceiling is broken by Indra, by lightning. But we can go into those worlds through this antariksha, through the cave in the heart. And this is the Hridi Guha Yam, what they found, the fire. So we can move to the Svar world through this center, through the antariksha. And then we are in the Svar world. We can move into the Vijnana world, supermind, through antariksha. It's another transcendence. And we can move even farther away to the transcendental, Satchitananda, as the last transcendence. So we have several transcendences to within our antariksha. So First is the split of heaven and earth. Then there is Svar, which is splitting our heaven and earth from Vijnana. Then there is Vijnana, which is splitting our heaven and earth and Svar from this transcendental. And then there is a transcendental there, Satchitananda, which is not splitting anything anymore. So we have 1, 2, 3 transcendences. We have to, and that is the path, the way, through the heart, again, through plexus solaris, to this antariksha. We have to enter. That's why you say we are drawn to this center more than to any other. And Mother speaks about this passage. She says this passage is guarded by all kind of forces which are trying to attack the soul. So there is a very narrow passage which one can cross only with the remembering the name of the Savior, yeah? Or who is your Savior or your guide or God, guiding force, Sri Aurobindo in this case. So remembering the name, you can cross this very narrow passage here. And then you can go down into the inconscient, or you can go up into the superconscient. There is this freedom here, freedom from this shell in which we are, mental and vital and physical shell. I wanted you to see this because it changes the whole perspective on our orientation, where we have to move, yeah, and how we have to find our transcendence. For me, it was a change of the whole perspective. Okay, final remarks for today. Agni calls to the Godheads, sacrifice as the way of transformation. Agni calls to the Godheads from above and from within the depth of his own consciousness, thus introducing them in their transcendental presence here, in the earthly consciousness of man. In this depth, in his depth, he has an access to all the Godheads. For he himself represents all of them here in the fallen self. This is the Rudra's son, the divine will. He brings all the divine powers with him to act upon our nature and to rise in consciousness to heaven. The aim of the sacrifice is the union of the 3 levels of the physical consciousness and 3 spaces of the vital and 3 heavens of the mental. For it effectuates an ascent to Svar with its 3 luminous realms, Trirochana, introducing thus the supramental consciousness into the lower hemisphere. This is the picture given by the Huta drawn, this picture given by the mother. They discussed this and meditated upon. Mother gave all these colors. She says that there is a supreme beyond the Asat and Sat. Unmanifest, this is Atsat. Existence is Sat. Consciousness is Chit. Bliss is Ananda. So beyond them, there is a supreme person, she says. And then there is a supermind, this golden, beautiful color. Then overmind, many colors. Then intuitive mind.
They also call it the rainbow colors, you know, the overmind.
Yes, all colors. She says all colors, rainbow colors, yes. But they are mixed. They are not in the rainbow range. And what is interesting, you can see intuitive mind ends these yellow, golden, and then we start with blue suddenly. Illumined mind is a light blue, higher mind is a little darker blue, mind is darker blue, vital is purple. I don't know, it's not very visible in this computer, but maybe you have a better screen. And then physical is red. And then we have inconscient, and all the levels from the physical to the inconscient, total dark, blue or dark. Now, what is interesting here, you can see that blues starting from illumined mind. And this is the top of our hemisphere, lower hemisphere. And then
reflection of the illumined sun, no? It is
yeah, in the Self of Mind, Sri Aurobindo speaks about this, that when he reaches the top, and then he knows everything what is in this universe, in himself he knows, and everything, and then suddenly the luminous finger fell from above, and that is intuitive finger, lightning, which showed to him that everything he knew was wrong. It was not so. And then he is surprised. So there is there is a correction coming from above, and this is this intuitive mind of Indra. That's why it is important. So if you look at this scheme, it's quite an amazing scheme. You will not find anybody giving these colors for different levels of consciousness. So this is basically it for today, for your meditation, thinking, and yeah.
Will you please send us also last week's video?
Yeah, I did. It is there.
I did not get it.
You didn't receive the invitation. It's very strange because you're this.
I got your document of reading, but I did not get the link to the video.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You have to have, because every time I put there, I send the link. Okay, I will do it again. Maybe look into this spam. Maybe it's in spam. If my connection, you don't receive from me any emails. Maybe.
Yes, I received from you the document, but I did not receive last week's video.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Oh.
I did not receive the video link of the recording of Sunday. I only received the document, but we did not receive the link to the video. I always have to go back. I never received them, actually. I always have to go back to the 23rd of September. Yeah.
All right, I will check. I will check. I thought you were receiving. So sorry. Yeah.
I received the previous one. But not last week Sunday.
All right.
You can do both.
Yeah, I will send you. I will send you now. No problem. Yeah.
It helps me to.
Yeah, I understand. No, it's. Yeah, it's in your file in the Google Drive. You can find all these videos and all the materials. But I will do it again. Yeah, I will send you again reminder, so we will have a link. You click on link and go. Okay.
Google Drive then. Okay, I will look for it.
No problem. I will send you again. Don't look for it. You can, because looking, if you have many emails, it's very. Oh, of course, you can type my name and it should be there, but. It's okay. I will send you again. It should not be a problem. Okay, so then we close for today with mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Okay.
Thank you, Vladimir.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.